Well, hey there. I'm not going to watch myself. There we go. Just feel like crap lately. I mean, oh well. I guess I was bored of school and stuff and everything, but I just don't even know what to do now, and nobody wants me around, so fuck it. Really, it's like they just want me to kill myself, right? Like always. Just kill yourself, right? Yeah, go kill yourself. That's not what people want. They tell you to kill yourself. Yeah, I don't have the capacity to do that for anything, for anyone. I can't even. I have a difficult time harming myself, but yet do it in subtle ways that are not quick or something. But I don't know. I just wish I could find a place where I could find peace and the capacity to live a full life, a life in which I've accomplished my goals to a certain extent, which are to make an impact for people who come after me and who may experience a different reality than myself. I do not. My reality is this, in which I have been exposed to a either dated or simplified version of reality in which I don't see the full capacity of somebody in my situation unless I were to force my way, in which I don't feel like doing, and people don't value my value me as they once did when I was perceived as a female that is possible for coupling with a straight male. And unfortunately, we're still controlled by a society in which straight males are of the dominant ruling elite, but I don't know if that's completely the case or if women have more of the power at this point. I don't even know who makes the decisions and who has the final say in anything, or who is allowed to have the final say in anything. Now, people live within their rights, within their boundaries, and I didn't. All I signed up for was a life, and well, people hoping me to be a certain way, but I couldn't live up to that fantasy, because that fantasy was not correct for my feelings about myself, about my true nature. And unfortunately, my true nature is something which seems other than the the uh, the mass of society. And mass society thinks of me as a threat because I offer something different and something that shatters their worldview in a way. But I can't undo the way that I feel, nor the words that I've said in the past. And unfortunately, that's the way I felt at the time. And I don't I don't blame people for being impulsive or something, and perhaps taking written word for cereal, for like literally. I just I can't blame them for being gullible in some ways or something, or using their doctrines for hate. But when in fact doctrines were put in place to create peace and harmony in society in times past, now we don't live in a time in which we need a public stoning of individuals. I don't even think that was necessary even back when and if those stories were real in the Bible or not. I don't even know. I'm not sure what the reality is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. At this point, I've graduated from my status as a student as into being a student who has been thrown out of school. Now I've never experienced this. I don't know. I mean, I basically laid down on my back and said, I would like to finish my degree, but the way in which your community, your society has manipulated me and treated me, I've been unable to live to my fullest extent and express myself in a way in which I could be helpful to society, because society did not value my voice for some reason. Now, I don't understand why that is. My voice was never intended to be misogyny, but due to my influences as a child and my possible Midwest parents, and I don't even know if it's like Freemason controlled instances, because I know I grew up with a lot of the symbology around me, and it permeated my dreams as a child, and sort of made it uncomfortable for me to even live in reality most of the time. So I allowed myself to experience day to day activities, but in the end, it was like, well, what is really going to happen to me if I manipulate my life in such a manner? I could get this outcome, but do I want that outcome? And is that outcome sustainable for the future? And is it something that is even possible for helping society? Is it something that would be helpful, or is it just selfish? At this point, it feels like my life right now is in existence because people allow me to exist, and I'm coping with the post-traumatic stress of multiple hospitalizations due to my my response to the symbology I'm presented with and the individuals that I see in my world and that I'm exposed to. I don't have a lot of the influences that I perhaps could have or once would have preferred to listen to or have in my sphere, but I do not have the access to these people anymore, and it's more like I live in the universe of the Sirens of Titan, where these men are all looking for the perfectly formed female with the interesting coloring, and they don't even want one of them. They just want a lot of them, and they want a lot of different beautiful women to have sex with or something, or to behold. I don't even know what the goal is. Do we want to create a society in which we're just creating people for aesthetic beauty, or do we want a society in which we're creating people and perpetuating certain types of intelligences which could alter the course of history and herstory, just the course of events in which we could manipulate the future and the capacity of humans to create and manipulate their environment in a positive manner in which does not inflict harm upon the individuals that reside within it. I know I live in an idealized world, and unfortunately, I've just experienced some rather traumatizing events in which I don't know if I'll recover from soon or not. I mean, I don't even think people believe what I've been through, because it seemed like something that couldn't possibly be real, but it was not a hallucination, because most of the things I see on a daily basis are things that I've experienced before, and which I don't know if they're manipulated by technology or not, but I mean, or if they're manipulated by individuals that are threatening what could happen if people destroy a certain type of thought process. We don't want to lose our connection to nature, our connection to the pulls of the environment, our connection to the land, our connection to other species, our connection to every form of matter. Now, I know that my relation to matter right now is through technological means, where we're using up resources in which we cannot get back. This is energy in which which has come from our sun, which has become, which was once life, and which then was condensed into oil, or rubber plants, or whatever form of energy we're receiving this from. Metals, which is just condensed. I don't know if there's even much metal in here, but condensed matter, and we're using all that energy and putting it into certain forms of creation. And do we want that technology for everybody? Does everybody deserve that technology? Yes, but in the same token, what biology should determine the course of history, and why do these people determine the course of history? Is it due to physical dominance? Is it due to intellectual dominance, or a combination thereof? We don't want to breed a society in which we're creating a violence, emotionally, psychologically, and physically, because I've been going through that, and the kind of energy I emit from that doesn't make people happy necessarily. It ends up causing pain in especially my life, and possibly the lives of those who I've touched or have touched throughout my life. And I don't know if they enjoy causing pain, or if I always come across people who want me in pain. I don't understand why that is. I don't know. I've been through selfish periods of my life in which it's difficult for me to take it seriously when the individual is being so disconnected from me exactly. I mean, it's hard to say that I can be perfect when almost in every situation there's always something more important. And who I really miss, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's like, well, the individual probably wanted me to stay off of hormones, and then once I started hormones, it became he just didn't want me in his life. And it's just it's difficult to feel happy about your situation when you can't be fully yourself and be accepted in society, or find love when you when you are considered a freak by those who you've come in contact with or something. Because I don't uphold a standard of beauty for either gender that's perfect, and I don't care about that, and I don't desire that, and I don't think anybody needs to really go through that unless they're really like competing for some sort of title or something. And I don't think what people should even do that in the first place. They should just do their own lives. But do people end up doing the same thing? I don't know. It just kind of makes me laugh. I don't know what we're competing for anyway. Are we competing for resources? My notion was that we all have a allotted amount of resources. I don't have I don't have the resources. I mean, I don't burn up my friends. I mean, I hardly ever bothered people, in fact, and they never really desired me in their presence. I don't know what I presented with them with, which caused such a ruckus, but I never intended insult or harm, because the individual perhaps misperceived, or even jumped to a conclusion about what I may have been saying without communicating, and then or taking my sarcasm or crass behavior as a huge character defect that they couldn't deal with because of their puritanistic ideals or something, which I just had no intention of upholding, and which has no bearing in reality, or which shouldn't have any bearing in reality, because in the long run, these words are words, and they're utterances of vocal cords. And Does it make you upset when somebody is just joking around or something? I don't know. That's all. That's all for now. I mean, like, I just I come through this wondering how these people maintain relationships when I go through it every day, as if like it's like, well, I'm still here, and I guess I have to do something because I just happen to be alive, and it's like it's just I've felt like I've almost done everything in my existence, and I just don't want to um, take someone's spot when they're desiring it so intensely. Now, I all I was hoping for was something in which people wouldn't feel too threatened by me, but in the end, I got hate crimes committed against me due to my capacity to enjoy what is supposed to be demeaning labor or something, and my demands for equality and determining my own course of action. But unfortunately, due to my individuality and my desire for being my own boss, it's difficult to procure funds for that, given my situation and the way that the environment was set up for people during that time, and my expectations for success due to my parents' previous success, and my capacity to pretend a lifestyle and a personality in which people were hoping for me to expound upon them. Like I was just there, and I guess they wanted me to be submissive and never speak. I don't think that's really fair to an individual, and yeah, I was like, well, it was almost like I just didn't even want to talk about it because it seemed like embarrassing that it was something that I had to deal with psychologically, and it wasn't even that I wanted the biologic function. It was almost like a nightmare that I had to go through time and time again, I had to, um, where I was expected to be a certain person, and that person was a difficult person to live up to, and each time it got more difficult and more difficult, and I had the trauma from experiencing this sort of lifetime, time and time again, and here I am now, and I don't know what I'm expected to do in this life, and all I can really think of to do is performance art um, due to my surroundings and my influences, and just I mean, I don't even want to take it literally because standing on a stage performing feels so very, I don't know, just pageant like, and um, like like play pretend. And I just, well, here's the reality of the situation. I've been through some hard times, and I feel very vulnerable, and I feel like I've been marginalized to an extent in which I can't return from, and people don't seem to understand that it's terrifying to lose your rights time and time again, and it's almost impossible to understand or to trust anybody thereafter, especially when you feel that things have happened to you in your own residence, in the place where you were raised, in the place where you um, found comfort and safety for many years, and felt that you could be vulnerable, and felt that you could trust the individuals in that residence. Now, I don't know exactly who my family is. They haven't told me their entire life history, their entire life story. Now, I don't think anybody can do that in one sitting anyway, but I don't know what my ancestry has written for me, or what my ancestry expects, or what the course of history expects of my ancestry, and I don't necessarily have pride in that, but I can see the value in some of that intelligence and that capacity in human beings, but I don't understand why there's always a need for. It's like, oh, okay, bam, 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 put you in your place, right? Is that what I just heard? Like, oh, what is the place of a person who just happens to feel this way? Sorry, I'm sorry that I can't do the same things as you did, like, because of the way that I've been affected, subconsciously and socially. Sorry that the expectations were thus that you have to be one or the other, and unfortunately, I felt more other than one. Because I don't even know. It's just like it seemed almost like my family has written role reversal type situations where females are the more physically capable, whereas the males are more intellectually capable and or more physically submissive, or not as not as physically dominant as those who are also residing in the society. So I'm not like, and I'm still quite small in the grand scheme of things. So it's like it's almost like we're competing for what balance of energy is the most superior or something, right? So that we can decide who's supposed to be in positions of power and or some position of resource attainment. And it's not that I'm asking for an overflow of resources. I'm asking for the capacity to deal with my situation and have a rather comfortable situation, because that's the humane way to treat human beings and any animal, in which is bred for or evolved into a certain manner of living, or a certain not even class, but even just a certain comfort level for, because their energy gets, that energy interacts with the environment, and the gravitational pulls have an effect. Humans react to what they are stimulated with. Despite their capacity to control themselves, they still react to it in some manner, and there's still thought processes that then go into their further decision-making process. So anyways, that's all I have to say for now. Okay, peace. I don't know what they did with the whole like chopping off the what, who knows.